The City of Dublin Natural Gas provides the most cost-efficient source of energy available today. So for your home, choose the most natural resource. Safe, clean, efficient. All new subdivisions around the Dublin area have natural gas available. Start reducing your energy bills today with Dublin City Natural Gas Department. Natural gas, the smart choice. Call 277-5048 today and let us help you start saving today. From humble beginnings with a desire to serve the Dudley community, Bank of Dudley has grown to 5 locations, serving Lawrence, Twiggs, and surrounding counties. Serving our community since 1905, the Bank of Dudley is looking forward to its 2nd century of community banking. Drop in today to any of our 5 locations: Jeffersonville, Dudley, East Dublin, Veterans Boulevard, and downtown Dublin. Bank of Dudley, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
I'd like to say good morning and welcome to the March 1st Friday Business Breakfast. What a crowd this morning. It's good to hear all the conversation and the energy this morning. We've had a great breakfast to get us off to a great start, so I think it'll be a good time for us to return thanks for the meal. If you would bow and pray with me. Father, we do thank you so much for a beautiful new day of life that you've given us today. Lord, we thank you for our beautiful community to live and work and play, and I just thank you for each person that's gathered here today, Lord. I pray that our meeting would bring honor and glory to you in everything that we do here in our efforts. Pray that you would continue to bless this community, to keep us safe, Lord. And I pray that you would bless the food that we've shared this morning to the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to your service. In Christ's name, amen. If you would now help me welcome Mr. Billy Frost, our incoming chair at the Dublin Lawrence Chamber.
Good morning. What a wonderful crowd this morning. First Friday I was here, about half this many. So it's great to see us getting back to the norm, and that's exciting for the chamber. This morning we have guest speakers with County Talk. We have Trey Kemp, and I'm going to ask y'all to come up and have a seat. And I think, Trey, you're going to start on that end. Chamber Talk is going to be Tracy Morgan, and our sponsor this morning is Shannon Perry. And thank you for sponsoring, and thank you for having a delicious breakfast.
We haven't officially voted on it yet, but it's looking like the pool and the water park may wind up being open this year. Keep your fingers crossed. I hope very much it is open this year. And I was talking to Brian, the director out there before I came in this morning. He wanted me to make sure everyone knows that the season passes are on sale from the 8th to the 28th this year. So if y'all want those, go ahead and order them online as soon as you can, so that you can make sure you lock those in. Sports have almost got back to where they were pre-pandemic. So we've got about 100 kids in softball, 200 in baseball, and soccer remains our number 1 sport. We're about 250 kids there in soccer this year. So those numbers have really got back where they need to be. Finally, y'all hold your horses around the interstate in July. We've got the World Series of Baseball, as they call it, coming to Lawrence County. This is for kids ages 8 to 18, and they're going to be coming from across the country, so it's going to be just north of 100 teams. It's going to have a pretty substantial impact on Lawrence County, at least $2 million from our very, very, very conservative estimates. Real numbers, we're probably looking at more than $3 million that are going to flow into Lawrence County. That 7 days are going to be in town. So just make sure if you're looking to go to Arby's that you get that done before the first part of July. So that's pretty much it for the county. Thank you.
We are looking forward to receiving your nominations for the Chamber Awards this year. We will still be doing that. And there's a litany of bullets that I have been given to read, and I will try not to be mundane in reading them. But the main thing is, thinking about the awards, is these are not civic awards. They are business-minded, so in thinking of who you would like to nominate, and if you feel that you are worthy of nomination, you can nominate yourself. But keep in mind, this is not civic, it's business-minded for these awards. You can nominate more than one person or more than one business. They have to be in good standing with the chamber, of course, and they have to be a member for at least 3 years to be eligible. Make sure you get those in. The deadline to submit them is March the 17th at 5 o'clock, and we will announce those at the April 1st Friday Means Business. So I'm sure there may have been something that I left off. If you have any questions, obviously call the chamber and they can fill you in. And I believe that the forms are on the website, so you can do that as well.
Good morning. My name is Shannon Perry, and I did put together some words that I could share with you today about our program, because I think most of you are not familiar with our program and what we do, and we are located in Dublin. But I'm going to try not to read it, but it's 16 years worth of service, so I try to condense that in about 30 seconds. We have an online program with the College of Business and Computing, and it's called the E-Major program. 16 years ago, I started working with GSW and started offering courses from the management program online, just individual courses. And over the course of these 16 years, we started offering the degree programs. So we offer degrees in management, marketing, HR, and accounting. And the university system, about 2015, 2016, started, you may be familiar with eCore, where they offer online core courses, general core, for students to take if they can't attend campus for core. They decided to offer that for the major programs as well. And our online program over these years has transitioned, so we were accredited by AACSB, just like UGA, Valdosta, Georgia State, for our on-campus and our online options. They're all accredited. So E-Major chose GSW to partner with, and they provide student services. So now we can offer services to our students for like free online tutoring, 24-hour help desk, personalized service. I have an office here in Dublin that's the online office, so we have an online admissions just for the School of Business. And we can do this for $199 per credit. So on your table, you'll see a chart of popular online institutions that you see commercials about, and you can see where our tuition rates fall versus where their tuition rates fall. So we're incredibly affordable. Our growth is still rising, even with this pandemic, both for our campus and our online options. So before COVID started, we had tried to partnership with industry to, for tuition assistance or employees that you may want to go back to school to get a degree that didn't have an opportunity to do so. And once things turn back to normal, we'll start doing that again. So I put my business card in the coffee mug. If you have any questions or you want to learn about the program, just please reach out to me. My office, like I said, is in Dublin. It's across from Walmart, where Freckle Frog used to be. We have not been in the office since March, but I've been working here from home, so I still have access to that phone number. So please give me a call if you need any information. I'm glad to help you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dustin Gay. I'm a local orthopedic surgeon with Houston Clinic Orthopedics, and we'd really like to invite everybody to come out to our new office facility to take a look at it. It's a larger space with physical therapy, and we're just excited to have it, and we'd love for people to come out and visit us.
Come by and see us today at our brand new location, the Houston Clinic, Medical Drive in Dublin.
My name is Phil Patel. I am one of the part owners here and the general manager here at the Hampton Inn & Suites. First time when I got introduced to Morris Bank, the people were so friendly and helpful. You feel like that you are appreciated there. At Morris Bank, everybody down at the bank is so friendly, and not just to myself, they're just friendly to everybody. They want us to succeed because our success is their success at the same time. That makes a lot of difference, and they're always there for us.
Well, I can't do as good as Shannon did because I'm going to read. We want to welcome our speaker this morning. Comes to you with over 25 years of management and leadership experience, and is currently the director of the Carl Vinson VA Medical Center in Dublin. He is a board-certified healthcare executive who most recently spent time in Roseburg, Oregon, as the director of the Roseburg VA. He held a senior leadership position responsible for applying planning and health administration skills to provide veterans with high-quality care consistent with community standards. He holds a Master of Political Science degree as well as a Bachelor of Education degree, both from the University of South Florida. He's a former high school teacher and football coach in Leesburg, Florida. We want to hear your record when you get up here. He is committed to community involvement and is very involved in outside volunteer positions. He enjoys spending time with his family, playing golf, scuba diving, boating, and gardening. Help me in welcoming David Whitmer.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to address the Chamber of Commerce and the state of the Carl Vincent VA Medical Center. Before I get started, I want to introduce our new Associate Director, Mr. Brandon Bentley. Mr. Bentley joins us from West Palm Beach. He was the Chief Financial Officer there, and glad to have him here as part of our leadership team. I want to, many of you all drive by the medical center and you have family or friends that are there, but you may not really understand the kind of hospital that we are, and I wanted to give you that kind of an overview. So we have a total of 343 beds. 164 of those beds make up our community living center. So it's a nursing home-like environment, and that means that we have the largest nursing home, VA nursing home, in the Southeast. We have another 145 beds as part of our residential treatment programs, where veterans can stay for up to 120 days to address issues such as substance use disorder or opioid use disorder. We also have a chronic homelessness veteran program there, as well as programs for post-traumatic stress disorder and military sexual trauma. And in addition, we have 34 medical surgical beds, and that's what you might normally associate with a hospital, but that's really the smallest part of our care program that we have. And without a 24/7 emergency department or an intensive care unit, we typically transfer the higher cases of acuity to other VAs in Augusta or Atlanta, or we partner with our local hospital here, Fairview Park, as well as community hospitals. And so in total, we have a $372 million annual operating budget. We have 1,800 employees, and we have about 400,000 outpatient visits a year that we see. We serve 39,000 veterans in a 49-county catchment area that spreads from basically the Georgia coast in Brunswick to the Alabama border, north to the southern Atlanta suburbs, and south to near the Florida border. And so in addition to the main medical center here in Dublin, we also have 7 community-based outpatient clinics that provide primary care, mental health, and some specialty services in Albany, in Brunswick, in Perry, in Macon, at the Robins Air Force Base, and in Milledgeville. I got to tell you, last year, and this from this time to last March, has really been the most challenging time in public health in 100 years, since the last major pandemic. And the COVID-19 pandemic really required us to make so many changes to our hospital operations based on new evidence, new science, and new learning from other areas that had experienced outbreaks. And I want to acknowledge others in our community that face these same challenges. We have Mr. Don Avery, the CEO of Fairview Park Hospital here, a close collaborator, as well as Dr. Thomas Kraft, who, as you all know, is at the Georgia Department of Public Health, the Southern Health District, that director. And we work closely together. But I want to make sure that the business community understands that having a competent medical ecosystem that works together is really critical for the health of our community, as well as adding to our business climate, and is conducive for growth and prosperity in business. I can tell you about a year ago at this time was one of the most sobering days I've had in my public health career, because I had to model what would an outbreak look like in our 165-bed community living center and our 145-bed rehabilitation center, where we have many patients with comorbidities. And when you start to look at your patients and their comorbidities, their ages, and you start to add up what could happen if you had an outbreak, we had to plan for what would 57 deaths look like in a week. And that is a very sobering experience to think about how many body bags you have to order. The fact that you have to have a frozen truck in contingency to be able to come to the medical center because our morgue only has room for 5 bodies. And it's that kind of thinking, what's the worst thing that could happen, that you then start planning for how do you prevent that from happening. Because I told my staff, if we have 57 people die in a week, I wouldn't be able to get a job managing a Chick-fil-A. And we wanted to make sure that that didn't happen. But no, seriously, I mean, as a high reliable organization in healthcare, you think about the absolute worst that can happen, and you plan to make sure that that doesn't happen. And so that required us to really think about how we adapt and change in a very quick environment in which we didn't have a lot of information. We were learning every day. I mean, I remember getting up very early in the morning and reading the latest scientific information that I had from NIH and starting to apply that in our hospital operations and how we were going to deal with all the things that we had to deal with. We set up 3 different lines of defense, knowing that our best strategy was to make sure COVID did not get in the medical center in the first place. And so in doing that, we set up screening. We had temperature checks. Of course, everyone was required to wear masks and hand sanitize. We tested our veterans as well as the staff twice per week. We did contact tracing. We had a quarantine area. Of course, staff that tested positive couldn't come to work for at least 14 days or until they tested negative. And then we had, of course, separate areas with negative pressure rooms to make sure that anyone who had tested positive, we could isolate them so we wouldn't get the broader community spread within the hospital. And I can tell you, at the height of the pandemic for us here locally, now again, some areas experienced outbreaks in different ways. Albany in our community was the first to experience that kind of outbreak, and we again learned from that. But for us here, it was in the summer or in the wintertime. Just getting past that. We had, at the height of the pandemic, 13 COVID patients, and I know Don had, some like 40 or 50, and I'm not sure the exact number, but it was a significant number, and we had 76 staff that had tested positive during that time. And so, although we lost 5 veterans, and we lost 2 staff members to COVID, again, we are thankful that it was not as bad as it could have been, and again, that's really, I think, a testimony to our staff and the diligence that we had to all of those measures. And I want to acknowledge the leadership in our community as well. They took some very bold decisions on mask mandates to make sure that the super spreader events that could have happened did not happen. And there's a lot of political heat that those leaders took for those decisions. But I can tell you it made a difference in our local health care. And I think they should be acknowledged for those things. And so while the pandemic, and we're now, I think, we see the light at the end of the tunnel, and finally it is not a train bearing down on us, we can start to focus on our future. And for us, our future is about making sure everyone gets a vaccine as quickly and safely as possible. And that's what our focus is right now at the Carl Vincent VA. We received our first 800 doses of the Moderna vaccine on December 23rd, 2020. And our chaplain and the chaplain service blessed this Christmas gift that we received from the American Scientific Enterprise, and they blessed our teams that were being trained to inoculate and trained to teach people about the safety and the efficacy of these vaccines so we could start our program immediately. And on Christmas Day, we did start our vaccine program within the Community Living Center. To date, we have delivered some 14,000 doses of the vaccine. That we currently only use the Moderna vaccine, but we have been able to inoculate fully with 2 shots 86% of the residents in our community living center, 100% of our spinal cord injury patients, 76% of the home-based primary care patients, 52% of our staff, and 24% of the general veteran population that we serve. We're expecting shipments of the Johnson & Johnson adeno-vector virus vaccine that will be coming next week. We're hoping to get about 1,200 of those doses. It might be up to 2,000. But that's going to be a game changer for us. It's a single shot, and the effectiveness of that vaccine at 72% is still highly effective. The annual flu shot that you might get might be at 50 or 60% effectiveness. So when I saw the phase 3 clinical trial from Johnson & Johnson at 72%, and 100% effective in terms of a bad outcome, I was really excited because scheduling a second shot and getting patient compliance for a second shot can be a real challenge. So a single shot is much more easier for us to administer and to schedule, and frankly, it's less vaccine hesitancy. I mentioned we have 52% of our staff that have been inoculated. We've offered it to everyone for a long time. There are a lot of folks that are still a bit hesitant about receiving an mRNA vaccine and some concern that it may have. And I can tell you, I've studied phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 of those clinical data. I felt very comfortable about receiving both shots of the mRNA Moderna vaccine. I would have been happy to take the Pfizer mRNA vaccine as well. But for some folks, the traditional way in which vaccines have been developed, again, this is an adenovirus vector that's used to deliver the genetic material to train your immune system to attack the virus. This is a more traditional way we've developed vaccines. So I understand some folks want to wait for that, and that's great because we've got some coming next week, and we're excited. We're going to schedule a mass vaccination event in Albany where we expect to inoculate 1,000 people in one day at the community center there. And we'll have a second mass vaccination event in Tifton and in Brunswick. We want to make sure that we're reaching out to our rural areas to get those. But right now we deliver vaccine in Dublin. We're doing probably about 300 or 400 shots a day at our Macon community-based outpatient clinic, and then a collaboration that we have with the Georgia Department of Veterans Services at the Georgia Vector Center in Warner Robins. We're delivering about 200 shots a day. And so again, we're excited about what the vaccine means, and I would encourage you, when it's your turn, get the shot. This is how we are going to get past this pandemic together. And we have a campaign, we talk about it, Save Our Summer. And the best way for us to save our summer and hopefully have a beer watching an Atlanta Braves game is to get a shot in the spring when it's your turn. And so I ask you to do that. And I recognize there's hesitancy about getting vaccines, but take the opportunity to learn about it. Again, we've given out 14,000 shots, not a single adverse reaction that we've had to report in any way. Yep, there's a little bit of arm soreness. I was a bit tired after the second shot, but no problems after that. And again, we've had no adverse reactions that we've had to report in any way. So please, if you hear nothing else from me today, when it's your turn, get your shot, save our summer, and let's get past this pandemic together.
We understand the value of life, and we want to help you live it to its fullest. At City of Hope Heart and Vascular Center, we're here to make your standard of living our #1 priority. Dr. Collins A. Kortang, MD, FACC, FSCAI, is a 5-board certified cardiologist admired for his empathetic approach to patient care. Dr. K is a former non-commissioned officer of the United States Combat Medical Corps. With the 2nd Infantry Division and the 101st Airborne Division, he's guided by his military values of loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and professionalism. He served his country, and now he's here to stay and serve his community. Dr. K specializes in internal medicine, echocardiography, nuclear cardiology, general adult cardiology, and interventional cardiology. Other areas of expertise include acute and chronic heart attack management, peripheral interventions to save legs from being amputated, heart rhythm abnormalities like atrial fibrillation. At City of Hope Heart and Vascular Center, we do your heart right. Call for an appointment today at 478-353-1970. Accepting new patients and walk-ins. Relax, Dublin. Dr. K and City of Hope has you covered. Dr. Collins A. Kortang, City of Hope Heart and Vascular Center, 207A, Fairview Park Drive in Dublin.
Hi, I'm Don Carville of Dublin Nissan. Life can be fast, and we realize that your time is important. That's why we'll make your next deal fast, fun, and friendly.
At Dublin Nissan, get this 20 Road Sport SV for only $24.99. Or take home the 2020 Nissan Frontier SV for only $27,289.
And remember, Don sells cars well, only at Dublin Nissan.
You know, I want to spend the balance of my time really talking about the future of the Carl Vincent VA Medical Center and the driver that we are economically to this community. And I recognize that importance. Again, being the largest employer and having the largest annual budget, we are thinking about programs and projects that we can help jumpstart our economy. We recognize that there was economic disruption as part of the pandemic, and we have planned and thought about what we can do to position construction and other projects to get us back where we need to be. I can tell you, when I first came here, I was surprised. It was near the end of the fiscal year, and I learned that we were sending back $20 million of our budget to Atlanta that ultimately went back to D.C. And I thought to myself, $20 million, that's a large business in Lawrence County. And so I explained to people, we are an important part of the economic driver of this community. We can't send back a single dollar. And if you're a good bureaucrat, you know you spend every dollar that you get. And I don't mind doing that because I know that's being spent right here, generating not just jobs here, but secondary jobs and other things. So I wanted people to understand that we don't send anything back. We have to be more thoughtful and proactive about how we plan and how we spend. And of course, we want to be great stewards of taxpayer dollars, and we recognize our fiduciary responsibility to taxpayers. But we've got to make sure that we have our programs set, that we're hiring people, the space, all the things that we need to do to expend our budget so that they don't take our money. In fact, we've trained people, and I'm great to have Mr. Bentley here to have that mentality about how do we have projects that are shovel ready so that when other parts of our network don't perform and can't spend, we're ready. Here's our project. And I'm going to give you an example of one of those that we're going to have awarded later this year because another medical center didn't perform. So that is our mentality going forward. And not only that, but we wanted to make sure we were coding and ensuring that we were capturing all of our workload. And again, we get one large budget for the network of hospitals in Georgia and South Carolina. And in Alabama, it's about a $4.5 billion pot of money. And so the more efficient we are at coding and capturing workload, the more money that comes here. And I'm proud to announce that our budget is actually going to be the highest increase of any budget in that network. We're going to have about a 15% increase in our budget next year. Now that's going to help us deal with pent-up demand from healthcare that we didn't deliver this past year to the pandemic, but we're going to be hiring many more people. We hired 400 new people this year, and we will probably hire 200 or 300 new people in the coming year above and beyond our normal allotment of FTEs. And so I'm excited about that. I also want to talk to you about some building projects that we have coming up. You may have read about the building 34 and 35. These are the buildings that you see as you first drive in from the east that have been dilapidated. They haven't been used in about 15 years. We have received a grant from the Georgia Department of Community Affairs to refurbish those buildings. It's about an $11 million project. It will transform from 2 vacant buildings into 2 apartment complexes that will house 50 veterans. There'll be 50 different apartments that are there. 22 will be single bedroom efficiencies. 22 will be 1-bedroom full apartments. And then we're going to build 6 brand new apartments that will be multifamily. And we're going to designate them primarily for female veterans with families. And then we'll have, again, a kind of a neighborhood of 50 veterans who may have been at risk for homelessness. We'll have HUD-VASH vouchers and other ways. So we think of it as a great addition to our campus. Again, veterans who come to us in crisis, who may have substance use disorder or who have had chronic homelessness, will come in, get treatment, and then have a permanent housing solution. Plus, they'll have other veterans who have gone through the same thing, and that esprit de corps and camaraderie that military service brings, that when one leaves the military, they lose that structure, and we hope to be able to replicate that back on our campus. And frankly, the things that I see going on in downtown Dublin as a new resident really inspired me. We don't tear things down here in Dublin. We refurbish them and we make sure that we can repurpose them to new and important priorities. And veteran homelessness and reducing that is a key priority for the VA. I mentioned the project that would have been awarded next year or perhaps the year before in our strategic capital improvement plan. But our teams were disciplined to have that project ready and shovel ready. And as a result, we're going to be awarding a $13 million contract for a 20,000 square foot new primary care and women's health center on our campus. And we hope to be able to announce that in the next few months when we make the award. But that's going to be a great addition to our campus. We'll have our primary aligned care teams in one side of the building. But most importantly, and what I wanted to make sure we had, was a separate women's health center. So of the 39,000 veterans that we serve, 9.5% of them are female veterans, and that represents the fastest growing share of veterans we serve going in the future. So I wanted to make sure that we had space that was dedicated specifically for female veterans and their health care needs, and it was a warm and welcoming environment to help us capture greater market share of those veterans that may want to get care at the VA, but didn't think that we had the programs that would meet their needs. So that new building is going to serve that purpose, new primary care space, but more importantly, a new women's health center for our female veterans. Another project that we have coming up that I'm going to need your support on is a Fisher House. So a Fisher House is basically a hotel that is on our campus that allows families to come and visit their veterans, either in the community living center or in one of our residential rehabilitation centers. We're going to be building a 16-room Fisher House, and this is sponsored by the Fisher House Foundation. You may have heard of those on military campuses, and they're starting an aggressive program on VA campuses. There were 13 of these Fisher Houses awarded this past year at VAs. We are one of them, and we're excited about that. We'll be the second Fisher House in Georgia, and when you think about it, we have 700,000 veterans that live in the state of Georgia. We just had the one Fisher House in Augusta, and we're proud that we'll be the second of those. But it's about a $6 million capital improvement project. The Fisher House Foundation will sponsor about half of that, and corporate sponsors through the Fisher House Foundation, will sponsor about half of that, and we're going to need to raise the other half in the community. We've dedicated 1.5 acres of ground right over near Lake Leisure and the new tot lot we have that's over there, a collaboration with the city, and that's where we're going to have that. And so again, we think of the Fisher House as a part of the continuity of care on our campus. So again, imagine a veteran that comes to us in crisis, perhaps had substance use disorder and was alienated from their family and decided to get treatment. They come to our VA and they get treatment, and we want to connect them back to their family. So having that family come and stay free of charge and be part of that recovery effort is how we can create a stable environment for that veteran when they do ultimately return home. So those 145 beds aren't just for veterans in our 49 county catchment. We have veterans that come to us from South Carolina, from Atlanta, from Birmingham. They don't have this kind of environment of care, so they come to our hospital for that long-term stay treatment, and now we'll have a place for their families to stay and for them to be connected during their treatment program. And so we think that, again, this is really a big part of our environment of care. You all know Mr. Keith Griffin. He's the chief of our voluntary services. He's been spearheading this project for us, and certainly will be spearheading the campaign we have out in the community to help us raise the other $3 million we're going to need to build that project. But we're really excited about that because, again, it's a huge part of our program going forward. So I think I'm just about out of time, but I want to thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you about our VA. Again, we recognize the importance that we play in our community, and you'll see us here at chamber events, certainly at the Rotary Club. We value the partnership. I know that there are some VAs that are like, thank you for your interest in national defense, we're the federal government, but we know how important federal, state, and local collaboration is and the importance of the community, but for the success of the hospital as well.
First Lawrence Bank invites you to experience banking at its best. Whether you have personal or business needs, we're a full-service bank big enough to handle all of your banking needs and small enough to provide you with that personal touch you've grown to expect from a community bank like First Lawrence Bank. Looking forward to your future? That's First Lawrence Bank in Dublin and Dexter, member FDIC.
At Lakes Alignment, we would like to take this time to thank our community for your support over the last 66 years, and especially these last few months with the opening of our brand new truck center. When you drive into Lakes Alignment, you get master trained technicians like Anthony Penny. Everybody calls him Bug, but it means so much to us. And on behalf of Neil Harden, Lisa, our staff, and the entire Lake family, we thank you for supporting us since 1954. Come see us today. We open every morning at 8 o'clock, and now our truck center is open on Saturday to serve your big trucks and equipment from 8 until 12. At Lakes Alignment, we thank you and this entire community, and will continue to serve you with the best trained staff and friendly, courteous service. Lakes Alignment. Hometown people serving hometown people. Come see us today, 104 Johnson Street, East Dublin.
Thank you, Dave. That was some great information. I appreciate you. And something else I heard there, and I hope you guys heard as well. I think Don has slipped out. But David and Dr. Thomas Kraft and Don Avery at Fairview, it is so important that they have the partnership and the relationship that they have to lead our community here. So thank you, David, for being a part of that. Shannon, thank you guys at GSW for a great sponsorship, great breakfast this morning. We appreciate you. I do want to let you guys know we have started back having ribbon cuttings. We had a huge crowd yesterday turn out at Twigs and Cotton. I think we had 50 to 60 people there maybe. We've got a ribbon cutting coming up at Oak and Ivy Uniform Lifestyle Boutique. That will be next Thursday at 1:30 in the afternoon. Tracy mentioned those nominations this morning. Let's make sure we get the right folks recognized. We need lots and lots of nominations. Businessman, businesswoman, and large and small business of the year. That will be our April First Friday program. Malia has applications or nomination forms on the back table, and they're available on the Chamber website. Again, that's the April First Friday program. And I also want to mention we will be having an April Business After Hours. We have two sponsors right now, Cochran Brothers and Citizens Bank, and they are looking for another partner or two to join in with them. So if your business might be interested in partnering for that April Business After Hours, please get with us and let us know about that. The location for that one is still to be determined. Also want to let you know, Summer Youth Works. Some of you are familiar with that. We started that program 2 years ago. We didn't have it last year because of COVID, but we are doing it this year. We have 43 students signed up right now that want to go to work this summer. That's where we need you. Right now we have 2 industries or businesses that have signed up to say, I will hire one of these students during the summer. So even if you can't hire, if you could help us spread the word, we need some folks that would employ these youth during the summer so that we can keep this program going. And I also want to let you know we did our first Small Business Council session this week at the Chamber, and we had a business person come in that's struggling in their business. They need some marketing help, they needed some financial assistance, and so we put a group of folks together, business professionals, to help, free of charge. That's included in your Chamber membership. So if you have a need in your business, or you know someone that has a need in their business that could use some help, give us a call. We'll put a team of people together and we'll see what we can do to help that business. So just a few things going on I wanted to share with you. And with that, we're going to end our breakfast. But I do want to tell you, make sure you take just a minute today to appreciate a new day. It is a beautiful day outside this morning. This is the day the Lord has made, and it's real easy to get caught up in where you've got to go, what you've got to do, and all the things you're going to face today. Take some time and make sure to rejoice in it. We're adjourned. Thank you.
It's nothing personal. It's just business.
Hello?
That's how some people do things.
Right away.
To us, everything we do is personal. Because anyone can answer the call. It's who shows up that matters most. That's the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them.
Ask Curry Maffett Insurance in Dublin if auto owners make sense for you.
Community Bank of Dublin Lawrence County is here to help with all of your financial needs. Our team knows what it takes to make life easy and convenient, and will help you get set up with our mobile and online banking. We founded Community Bank on common sense banking and a dedication to help people just like you. Our loan officer Gail Rainey and branch manager Amy Thompson know what it takes to make life easy and convenient, and can help you with loans with almost everything, from your automobile, home, land, or any financial goals you have. Come visit us today. Community Bank of Dublin Lawrence County, where common sense banking never goes out of style.
Jackson's Income Tax Service is ready to serve you. Jackson's Income Tax Service is open year-round, so don't delay. Come in today and get your taxes done and out of the way. Jackson's Income Tax Service has always stayed abreast of current and future tax laws. Email Jackson's Income Tax Service, call 272-8681, or visit us at 610 North Church Street in Dublin. Jackson's Income Tax Service is following CDC guidelines, practicing social distancing. You may drop off, email, or mail in your information for professional tax return services.
So come to Jackson's Income Tax Service,
where experience makes the difference.